If you've ever been to a derby party, you've probably had derby pie. Well, we're about to visit the kitchen where it's mixed together, and it's a family secret. Let's visit Kern's Kitchen.
Is this where I give up the secret recipe? Derby pie started back in the early 50s. My grandparents came in and were managing the Melrose Inn restaurant, and they developed the pie as their specialty item for the restaurant, their signature item. And once they had the pie developed, once they came up with a pie that they liked, they went about to name it and actually pulled the name out of a hat in front of the restaurant one night after hours. My Uncle George, I don't want to leave Uncle George out, it was the three of them that started the business. You know, when I came into the business, the grandparents were making maybe 2,000 pies a year. You know, we're close to some days making 2,000 pies a day now. You know, we'll take out more pies this week than we took out all of 1964. So, you know, it's grown, but like I said, we started, when I came in, we had 14 customers, so that's grown quite a bit, and we're reaching out and engaging with a lot more people these days. So as we've grown through the years, you know, we've gone from baking 3 pies at a time to 24 at a time to now we're baking 160 at a time. What we've really worked hard on through the years is having the same pie that if you happen to come over to Grandma's kitchen, you're getting the same pie from her in her kitchen that you can take home now and have in your kitchen and serve your guests. So it's a focused attention to that pie. 8.1's good. Well, our process really starts with our dough. We make all our dough in-house, do it weekly, if not more than once a week. But that's where it gets started. Then once we get the dough mixed, we get our shells pressed, we get them on the line, and then they're ready to be filled and go into the oven. And then we're just air cooling the pies, and then we get them on the pack line and get them packed up and ready to get master packed and out the door.
We take a lot of time in all the planning and all the staging and prep work to successfully set up the day. We go through all the ingredients by hand first. We're hand cracking our own eggs. Everybody's trained so that we know exactly what to look for day in and day out.
Our production manager, JBK, he is only the second person outside the family that's been made privy to the recipe, and he does a wonderful job for us. You know, he's got that integrity side.
In the secret recipe, you can read the box.
It is a secret recipe. It's fairly highly protected. Anyone that comes into the shop signs a trade secret and confidentiality agreement, even though they're not privy to the recipe. Right now, we have got the secret recipe happening. That's about all I can tell you. When I first came into the business, the grandparents were baking out of 2 Frigidaire ranges, baking 6 pies at a time. And you'd have to go in halfway through the bake and spin the pie around 180 degrees to get an even bake. So the rotary tray ovens, what they do is they take that pie through the heat, and you don't have a pie sitting in a hot spot and one in a cold spot. You get a nice even bake. So we think it's a real good way to just add to the quality of the pie.
I believe quality is instilled in everything we do here at Kern's Kitchen.
Oh, I'm very proud of the product. Yeah, you know, we think we do a very quality product. We put a lot of energy into it from, you know, the very beginning, from the crust all the way through the packaging and getting it into the box. We autograph our work with quality. People want to have a good time. People want to feel good. People want to enjoy the festivities. And to be able to fit in and be a part of that is a real pleasure for us. One of the things that really drives me is when we have somebody call up and say, oh, you know, my daughter's in Tucson, Arizona. I got to get her some pie. It's her favorite pie. Or, you know, we had some special guest in that treated us to this special event. We want to send them something special. We want to send them one of your pies. And that's, you know, that's a big kudos. The Derby Pie name is something that draws your attention. And then I think once you try it, I think that's the real bang. I think it's got a lot behind just a name. You've got the chocolate and the walnuts really work well together, and then of course our crust, we're real proud of our crust, and it's a nice light flaky crust. So you get the smoothness of the chocolate, a little crunchy of the nuts, and the flaky crust, and then everything just goes together really nice. When I'm doing a food show or something, and people have never heard of Derby pie, and I really work hard at, you know, have you tried it before? Have you had your piece of Derby pie yet today? And you know, all the things that they might say not to have a piece of pie, and it's like, well, you know, it's a small piece, try it out. So when I finally get them to pick that piece of pie up, and they're walking down the aisle to another booth, and they finally put it in their mouth, and they'll pause and turn around and see what was that I just got a hold of. I think that's the biggest compliment.